أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء المرسلين محمد وأهل بيت الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين سيما الإمام المنتظر الحجة الثاني عشر روحي وأرواح العالمين لتراب مقدمه الفداء أما بعد فقد قال الله سبحانه وتعالى في كتابه المجيد والفرقان الحميد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ربي زدني علما صدق الله العلي العظيم. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Apologies for the delay. Inshallah, hopefully things are back to normal. Now, as I mentioned to yourself, that a few new starters have joined the class as well, and also some people had missed the lessons. So inshallah, what I promise is that I'll do revision of everything what we have covered so that everyone can catch up. Now, can everyone hear me as well?
Yes.
Yes.
Now, main three things which we studied in lesson number 1, I'm going to teach outside the book, and then I'll go back to the book. So the main three things we learned in lesson number 1 and up to lesson number 5 is 3 things. We learned about verbs. We learned about past tense verbs, and we learned about harf, prepositions. That fi, whenever fi comes before a noun, so the noun will get a kasra. And we learned about isms. So that's what we learned. And then we also learned about nouns, that every noun in the Arabic language, it can have 3 harakat i'rab. It can end with a dhamma tanween or a dhamma marfu'un. It's called a nominative case. Let me just see if this will work. So marfu'un means a noun ending with a dhamma or a dhamma tanween, and a noun majroor, it's when a noun ends with a kasra or a kasra tanween. Mansoob is when a noun, the last letter of the noun has a fatha, zabar, or a fatha tanween. So these are the 3 states of a noun. So all nouns in the Arabic language will end with one of these 3 harakat. Example being, and examples being Allahu Ghafurur Rahim. So here, Allah is coming with a dhamma, Ghafurun is coming with a dhamma tanween, Rahimun is coming with a dhamma tanween as well. And then Inna Allaha, so over here, Inna Allaha Ghafurun Rahimun. So because of Inna, of course, I haven't taught you Inna yet, but I'm just trying to explain. It's just an introduction for those who have joined today's first class. Inna Allaha, because of Inna, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is ending with a fatha. So normally, all nouns in the Arabic language, when they start a sentence and they have the alif lam, so Allah has the alif lam and it's Allahu, and it's coming in the beginning of the sentence. So Ghafurur Rahim are nouns again, but having with a dhamma tanween. And then Inna Allah, Inna is coming, and because of Inna, Allah is ending with a fatha, Ghafurun Rahimun. I'm just trying to give you examples, endings of Iran. I'm not teaching this as a subject yet. And then Muhammadun Rasulullahi. So Muhammad is the messenger of Allah. Rasulullahi is mudaf and mudaf ilay. Rasulullahi, mudaf and mudaf ilay. And it's coming as khabar. And I'll talk about mubtada and khabar just in a few seconds. Now, then in the first few lessons, we talked about nakira. These are terms yet. Inshallah, I'll go through lesson 1 and go through them gradually. So I'm just going through some glossary and some terms which we have covered. Then we talked about nakira. Nakira means indefinite, meaning a noun which ends without alif lam. So when a noun ends without alif lam, it is called nakira. So kitabun, Baytun, masjidun, it's called nakira. And when a noun has the alif lam, it's called a definite article, and it's called then ma'rifa in the Arabic language, and in the English language called the definite article, like al-kitabu. We did that in lesson number 3. And that's that. Then I'll talk about lesson 1 now. So lesson number 1. So this is, now I'm going through the lessons gradually. Now lesson number 1, what we covered is about hadha. So lesson 1 was all about hadha, and hadha in the Arabic language means this. Hadha in the Arabic language means this. Hadha, and it is used for, it's called a demonstrative noun. Ismul ishara, and it's for something which is lil qarib, for near, and it's masculine, and it's singular, and it's definite. So these are all of the 4 or 5 qualities that hadha has. It's a demonstrative noun, and it's for something which is close by. Hadha kitabun, this is a book, and it's masculine, it's singular, and it's definite, and it always comes as the subject. So in the, I'll explain this, what do we mean by subject in a second. And then we also spoke about in this lesson number 1 about ma hadha, and he spoke which is also asked for question, and man is used for who. La means no, na'am means yes. Once I do this, I'll go to lesson number 1, okay? Huruful istifham, particles of asking questions. Now, there are different particles of asking questions. So for example, ma hadha, what is this? So ma is used for asking question about objects, ma hadha. And man hadha, who is this? Hadha najmun, this is a star. And then ma is a particle of questioning, and it's only used for non-intelligent forms. So whenever you want to ask questions about object, you'll see ma hadha when it's an object. And man is a particle which is used for intelligent beings. So man hadha, who is this person? And is a particle of questioning, and is used both for intelligent and non-intelligent forms. So ahadha rajulun, is this a man? Ahadha kitabun, is this a book? And then we learned about the particles of reply. You can either answer by la and na'am. So these are particles which we have done. Now I'm going to go now to lesson number 1 from the book, so that we can relate it back to the book.
Can I ask a question or later on?
Sister Elia, yes, you can ask a question soon as I open the book.
Okay, so if in the previous, I think on page 33, it's written adhahaba. So what does that mean? Adhahaba.
So adhahaba, did he go?
Did he? So if will change to did.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so when it comes to the verb, it'll come in with adhahaba zaydun, did Zayd go?
Okay.
So now lesson number 1.
Sorry,
so,
can I ask a question as well?
Who is speaking? Sister Naila.
Naila, yeah.
Yes.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
So when we're talking about animals, I know they, what's it called? Like having pets and stuff is more of a Western thing. Do you say man or do you say ma?
Does he have intelligence, animals?
I suppose they do.
Yes, but they are not. In Arabic, we call it al-insanu hayawanun natiq. We have intelligence, and also we speak. Of course, animals speak in their own language, but they are not called hayawan and natiq. So they will be treated as non-rational.
Okay, I see.
And we call it mahada to animals as well.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
So to a chicken, you want to say, who is this? To a chicken.
No.
You say, what is this? This is a chicken. Okay, so now I'm going to go through this quickly. Lesson number 1 from the book. So lesson number 1 was speaking about hadha, and we learned in this lesson number 1, hadha baytun, hadha masjidun, Hada babun, this is a door, this is a masjid, this is a house. Now, in the Arabic language, now I'm coming back and I'll explain it and elaborate further. Now, in the Arabic language, those who are joining today's class for the first time, please kindly message me privately, and I'll send you another handout in regards to explaining this further for yourself. Now, this first lesson is talking about basic sentences, and these basic sentences are, both of them contain nouns. Hada baytun. Now, hada baytun is a basic sentence where it would translate it in English language. This is a house. This is a house. Now, this is a house. In Arabic, there is no word for is. Sister Muna Manji, can you come on the mic, please? Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. Yes.
Alaikum salam. I think he was anticipating me calling you.
Yeah, I was hoping not. Carry on, Sheikh.
Now, over here now, hada baytun. If I did a literal translation, hada means this, baytun means a house. So now there is no is in the Arabic text. Now, what represents is the dhamma tanween on baytun. So this tanween on baytun, it's that which creates a relationship between baytun and hada.
Yes, that's right.
So that is how you know that hada and baytun has a relationship, and that's the way the Arabic grammar conveys meaning. The changing of the harakat it causes the changes of the meaning itself. So hada baytun, hada is the subject. So in the English language, whenever a noun starts a sentence, it's called subject and predicate. Subject and predicate. Mubtada and khabar. So mubtada, it comes from the word bada. Bada'a. Bada'a means to start. And mubtada means a noun which starts the sentence. And khabar is the information which is being provided to the listener.
Yes.
So this is called hada baytun, this is a house. Hada masjidun, this is a mosque.
Mosque.
So this is called subject and predicate. So in the Arabic language, there are two types of sentences. You can either have a nominal sentence, which starts with a noun, or you can have a sentence which starts with a verb, like we did in lesson number 4. Did you participate in lesson number 4?
I think so. I must have, yes.
So in lesson number 4, we spoke about verbs like dhahaba zaydun. Zayd went. So when a verb starts a sentence, it's called a verbal sentence. And whenever there is a verb, you have sometimes 2 components or you have 3 components. So when it has 2 components or parts, it will be the verb and the doer. Every verb requires a doer. A verb cannot take place without a person to do the action itself. So in this lesson, we are talking about only hada kitabun, hada qalamun. So this is the whole theme of lesson 1. Then on lesson page number 2, then we'll speak about ma hada, as I showed you a summary of the lesson itself. Ma hada is used for asking questions about objects or animals itself. So ma hada, what is this? Hada baytun. Or the other way you can ask a question is by ahada baytun. Is this a house? Correct. And then you can respond either by na'am hada baytun. Yes, this is a house. You can either answer it positive, or either you can answer it negative by saying la hada masjidun, for example, or la hada mustashfa. This is a hospital. So there's 2 ways of answering any sentence which starts with ahada baytun or ahada qalamun. So if you see over here now, ahada sarirun, is this a bed? This is not a bed, this is a chair. So we respond to this, la hada kursiyun. No, this is a chair. Right. I'm going to ask is there anyone who has joined this class for the first time today? Because I know there's still people joining the class. So is there anyone who has joined the class today?
Yeah, myself. Bilqis.
Yeah, me, I have joined today.
So Bilqis, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Walaikum assalam.
Are you the one who's doing the course with the online with the other university?
No,
Okay, that's fine. And have you studied any Arabic before?
no.
Okay, brilliant. Okay, now Sister Bilqis. Now, over here, these are exercises. So the word hada is always used. So these are, I'm going to mention some additional points. So hada is always used for masculine objects. So in the Arabic language, nouns are masculine and feminine. I'll talk about that in lesson number 4, but I'm just preparing yourself that when a noun ends with a dhamma tanween, a ta marbuta around ta, I'll give you an
Yes.
example. That is a sign that the noun is feminine. And then we will not use hada, but we use the opposite of hada, which will be the feminine gender. So, but this lesson at the moment is only about masculine nouns, hada masjid or hada baytun. And then the next thing on page number 7 in lesson number 1, we learn about man hada. So man itself is used for human beings. So man hada, who is this? So man hada, who is this? Hada tabibun, this is a doctor. Man hada, who is this? Hada waladun, this is a boy. You see, both, always the second part of the noun is ending with a tanween. I'll just quickly go through this. Sis Bilqis, can you kindly go through the first line?
Yeah, haza maktabun. Haza masjidun.
Yep.
Haza khalmun.
Qalamun,
This is a table chest. This is a mask, and this is pencil or pen.
Correct.
Haza sarirun. This is bed. Ma haza. What is this? Haza kursiyun. This is chair.
Excellent.
Haza baitun. Is this a house?
Excellent.
La haza masjidun. No, this is a mosque. Haza ma haza. What is this?
Yes.
Haza miftaun. This is key.
This is a key. Excellent.
Man haza. Who is this?
Excellent. Thank you.
Man.
Thank you. That's sufficient. Because I'm not going to go through the lesson completely because it will take too much time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jazakallah.
You're welcome. And then, Sister Ishrat, are you there? Ishrat?
Yes.
Yeah. Can you points to remember? So I just want you to read these examples, and this will actually summarize the whole lesson itself.
Ma haza, what is this?
Yep.
Haza kitabun, this is a book. Haza baytun, is this a house? Naam, haza baytun. Yeah, this is a house.
Excellent.
La haza masjidun, no, this is a mosque. Man haza, who is this?
Excellent. And who else is a newcomer to the class today?
Yeah, I am newcomer.
Asma Raza, Sister Asma Raza.
Yes, Assalamu alaikum. I'm the newcomer.
Bismillah. Can you kindly go through the points to remember? So this is quite important, that mubtada and khabar, and it just explains it in text format. Bismillah, can you read this?
It's for me?
Yes. Hada is pronounced hada. Would you be able to read?
Hada. Actually, it's my first class.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll read it. Can I request an Ali, brother Ali, iPhone? Okay.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam. Can you kindly go through the points to remember, please?
Sure. Hada is pronounced hada, but is written without the first alif. Arabic has no corresponding to the English is, i.e. Arabic has no copula. There is no word in Arabic corresponding to a in English, as this is a book. The N sound at the end of the Arabic noun, kitabun, baytun, masjidun, is the Arabic indefinite article corresponding to the English a, an. This N sound is called tanween. The particle a placed at the beginning of a statement turns it into a question. For example, hada baytun, this is a house. Hada baytun, is this a house?
Excellent. Brilliant. Thank you. Any questions on that?
No.
Brilliant. So that was lesson number 1. Now in lesson number 2, we're continuing the same concept of the demonstrative announced itself, but now we're talking about dhalika. So in the second surah of the Quran, the first ayah alif lam mim, dhalika al-kitab, the second ayah of the Quran, dhalika al-kitabu, that book. So dhalika is used for masculine objects, dhalika. So dhalika means that for something which is slightly further away, and you'll see in the pictures as well. Ma dhalika, what is that? Dhalika najmun. And then what they have done, says Asma, can you come on the mic now, please? Asma Raza?
Yes.
Let's read this and I'll translate for you. Hada.
Haza masjidun wa zalika baytun.
Correct. So what they have done here now, this is a masjid and that is a house. So this is something closer to you, to the text, and that's slightly further away. So they have mixed both of lesson number 1 and lesson number 2 to teach you the difference between hada masjidun, this is a masjid, and that is a house itself. And you'll see hada masjid, this is a masjid, and that is a house. There is no a word a in the Arabic language. The only thing which represents a is the tanween as well. The tanween masjidun, it represents the tanween, it represents a, and it also represents is as well. It represents two things. This book hasn't mentioned it, but I'm mentioning this to you, that whenever there is a tanween coming in a sentence construction, and there's a noun in the beginning, and there is another noun, like hada is a noun, and masjidun is a noun. So masjidun is represent a masjid, and it also represents is as well. So this tanween, it creates that relationship between hada and masjidun. And that's the reason why it's getting a tanween ending as well. So there's two reasons why masjidun has a tanween. Does that make sense, everyone?
Yes.
So let me give you another example. Sister, come on. If you can come on kindly on the mic, Asma Raza. This one, man hadha wa man dhalika. Man means who? Bismillah.
Ma zalika.
No, man.
Zalika.
No, next page. Page number 14. Man hadha.
Haza sukran wa zalika.
No, top of the page. Top of the page. No, man hadha wa man dhalika.
Okay. Man haza wa man zalika. Haza mudarrasun wa zalika imamun.
Correct. So man hadha means who is this? Wa man dhalika, who is that? So this is a teacher and that is a imam. So that is the whole theme about lesson number 2. And I'm not going to do anything else. Now, lesson number 3. Now, lesson number 3, it's now a continuation of the definite article. So, so the definite article in the Arabic language is al. So I'll read it, al-baytu. So baytun means a house. Baytun means a house. And al-baytu means the house. So it specifies which house you're referring to by the house. Qalamun means a pen, and al-qalamu means the pen. So you'll see when it's indefinite, in Arabic, it's called nakira. When a noun ends with a tanween, it's called nakira. Indefinite in English, and it will be translated as a pen, a house. And when the definite article alif lam comes, then it will be translated al-baytu, the house, and al-qalamu, the pen. Kitabun means a book, al-kitabu, the book. Jamalun means a camel, al-jamalu, the camel. Now, I'm going to ask someone called Nai S.
Yeah, sorry, just another.
Okay. Okay. I'll always catch you out when you change your name.
Sorry.
Okay. Right. Now over here now, I have a question for you.
Okay.
Is that I mentioned something as well about this, whenever we have a sentence containing subject and predicate. I mentioned a few rulings last class. What things can become the subject and what things can become the predicate? Do you remember?
Oh boy. No, I don't remember. Maybe an example would help
So,
because yeah.
so for example, okay, Sister Elia, I think he was in that class. Can you mention that to the students, please? If she's there, I'm not sure if she's there.
Yeah, I'm here, but I don't remember.
Okay, that's fine. Right. Now, there are a few things in the Arabic language which they have highlighted what can come as the subject, what can in the beginning of the sentence. One of them is this, hada. So whenever hada comes, it is permitted to come in the beginning of the sentence as the subject. So hada is a demonstrative noun which is allowed to come in the beginning of the sentence, number one. Number two, also all nouns which start with alif lam. Can you see this alif lam here? Al-qalamu maksurun. So all nouns which have the definite article are allowed to come as the subject and come in the beginning of a sentence. So al-qalamu maksurun. Al-qalamu maksurun. The pen is broken. Al-babu maftuhun. The door is open. So this is a ruling. The ruling is that all definite nouns, alif lam, are allowed or permitted to come as the subject, as the mubtada. And whenever there's a single noun like maksurun, maksurun means broken. Maksurun means broken. Now, all indefinite, does it have alif lam maksurun? No, it doesn't. It ends with a tanween. So it's nakira, it's indefinite. These nouns are allowed to only come as the khabar, the predicate. So that is the default position, that all predicates, all khabars will come indefinite without alif lam, as long as they are one nouns, single words. Maksurun is a single word and it's coming as a khabar. So you will see literally al-qalamu, the pen. There is no is. The word maksurun means broken. The tanween on maksurun, dhamma tanween, is creating that relationship between al-qalam and maksur, because al-qalamu means the pen, maksurun means broken. There's no relationship. If I said in English, the pen broken, you'll say, what are you saying? Makes no, it's not a complete sentence. To make a complete sentence in the English language, you need to have the is to create that relationship. So in the Arabic language, what they have is the changing of the harakat. So maksurun is that harakat which is creating that relationship between maksurun and al-qalamu. And also it gives the meaning of a. Is this clear, everyone?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Now, the other point I need to mention, whenever maksurun, first of all, what does it now maksurun? What does maksurun do? Is it a word of an object or is it a descriptive word?
Descriptive word.
Yes, exactly. It's a descriptive word. It's describing. So, for example, when you say beautiful, ugly, if you say open, if you say broken, if you say short, if you say tall, if you say standing or sitting, all of these are describing words. And whenever a noun, so maksurun, maftuhun, jalisun, and waqifun, all of these are describing words. Whenever they come in a text format, we will not say the pen, al-qalamu, a broken. We wouldn't say that. Whenever adjectives comes, there is no need to bring a. You will just say the broken, al-qalamu maksurun, the pen is broken. The pen is broken. You will not say the pen is a broken. This is a ruling in regards to indefinite nouns which are referring to adjectives. I think in the points to remember, it speaks about that. Let me just go to that, so that this is a really important point. Oh yeah, over here. Can I request Sister Fiza Rizvi?
Yes, salam alaikum.
If you could start from here, the initial vowel,
Yes. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. The initial vowel A, I, or U, which is omitted when preceded by a word, is called Hamzatul Wasl.
That's
The
fine.
door is open. Al-Babu maftuhun. The pen is broken. Al-Qalamu maksurun. Note, we have learned that the tanween is the indefinite article, and it is to be translated as
A. Yeah.
e.g. baytun,
A
a
house.
house, a house. Okay, translated as a house. This does not apply to adjectives like maftuhun, open, and maksurun, broken.
Is that clear now?
Yes.
Yes, 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 yes.
This is a really important point.
So is this
Indefinite.
indefinite, making it indefinite. Okay.
Okay.
Because we don't have any word for is in Arabic.
Correct. Correct.
That's why, right?
Yes.
Baytun.
Okay. So
So you told us that all predicates will come as indefinite.
correct.
So they cannot have al before
No.
them, but they can have un after at the end.
Correct. Correct.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
So al-babu maftuhun, the door is open. Al-waladu jalisun, the boy is sitting. Wa means and, wal mudarrisu waqifun, and the teacher is standing. Waqif is standing, okay? And then al-kitabu jadidun, the book is new. Wal qalamu qadimun, and the pen is old. Al-himaru saghirun, the donkey is small. Wal hisanu kabirun, and the horse is big. See, there's no a translated before a big horse or a old book. Okay, so this is something really important. Right, moving on forward. Those who I'll send you kindly, the new students, if you just message me and I'll send you the playlist, and then inshallah I will, and then if you could do the homeworks for me, send it across and I will mark your homeworks for you. So over here, who I'm going to ask? Sister Mariam, can you come on the mic, please?
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam. Can you do 1, 2, and 3, please?
1, 2, 3. Okay. An-najmu ba'idun. The star is far.
Correct.
Ar-rajalu waqifun. The man is standing.
Correct.
As-sukuru hulwan. Hulwan. Okay. As-sukuru hulwan. The sugar is sweet.
Excellent.
At-talibu marizun. The student is sick.
Excellent. Brilliant. Thank you ever so much. Is this clear?
Yes.
Brilliant. Any questions from anyone before I move on forward? Right. Okay. Now, the next thing I need to mention to yourself, now in the Arabic language and in the Quran, we have huruf al-shamsiyya and al-huruf al-qamariyya, or al-huruf al-qamariyya and al-huruf al-shamsiyya. I'm going to ask this question to Sister Ghazala Bakir. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah. I think maybe this is your first class. Sister Ghazala?
Yes, yes, this is my
First class.
this is my second class, yeah.
Okay, no problem. So inshallah, listen in as I'm revising, so inshallah that'll help you. If you have any questions, kindly message me and inshallah I'll answer.
Okay.
Now, Sister Henna, assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum.
How are you?
Alhamdulillah, I'm good.
Can you explain the difference between moon letters and sun letters? Like al-abu and at-tajiru. What happens to the definite article when alif, ba, jim, ha, the first moon letters or the sun letters come? What happens to the lam of the definite article?
No,
okay, I'll do it. That's fine. That's fine.
Tell you the truth, it's been a while.
Yeah, that's fine. That's no problem. So haruf al-qamariya are the moon letters it's used in the Quran as well. We do quite often. وَالشَّمْسِ وَالضُّحَى وَالْقَمَرِ إِذَا تَلَاهَا. Surah Shams is a good surah for practicing sun letters and moon letters. So alif, ba, jim, ha, kha, ain, ghain, fa, qaf, kaf, mim, waw, ha, and ya. These are all of the moon letters. So whenever a moon letter comes after the definite article alif lam, the al is pronounced fully. So al abu, the father, al babu, the door, al jannatu, the paradise, al himaru, the donkey, al khubsu, the bread. So you see, whenever these letters come after the definite article, the al particle is pronounced fully. Now, when we come to the sun letters, ta, tha, dal, dhal, ra, za, sin, shin, sad, dha, twa, 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 dha, lam, and noon, what happens that the lam becomes silent. So we don't say al-tajiru, but we say at-tajiru. So the letter after the definite article, la, alif lam, there is a shadda placed on it. A shadda placed on it. At-tajiru, at-thawbu, ad-diko. At-tajiru, the merchant. At-thawbu, the garment. Ad-diko, the rooster. Ad-dhahabu, the gold. Ad-dhahab is gold. Ar-rajulu, the man. Az-zahratu, flower. As-samaku, the fish itself. And ash-shamsu, the moon.
Right. Yeah. No, I understand now. Yep.
So this is called the sun and moon letters. So we do this often in the Quran recitation itself.
Is the letters the ones on the right?
Yes,
Okay.
exactly. So these are the moon letters. Whenever a moon letter comes, the definite article al, it's pronounced. And whenever the sun letters come, the lam of the definite article al becomes silent, and the letter after the al, we replace it with a shadda, and the alif and the letter after the lam joins together. At-tajiru, at-thawbu.
Right.
Clear?
Yep.
Brilliant. Is this clear for rest of the class?
We do this in Quran.
Yes, sir.
And we don't have to remember these are the sun letters or moon letters, because we already do this by looking at the shadda.
It's true,
right?
but the thing is that you know it because the reason why they have put this in the book, because when you read the Arabic text, tafasir and tarikh, which everyone I'm preparing for, there is no harakat or any tanween or any shadda there. You will need to know them.
Okay.
So that's the reason why the book has mentioned this.
Okay, thank you.
One more question.
Yes.
When we are translating the huruf shamsiya, even we are going to say the merchant, the dress,
Yes.
right?
Correct. Absolutely. And the other thing is that those who have joined today, my aim is after book 4, so there's 3 books more which I need to do. After book 4, I will be starting then Arabic text reading. I did start with another class, but I am going to slightly postpone it. So after book 4, I'll be preparing like ulumul Quran, tarikh, akhlaq, fiqh, usul al-fiqh, ayatul ahkam. All of these subjects will then be taught in the Arabic language. At the moment, we're learning Arabic, but after book 4, I'll be doing Arabic grammar, the syntax classes and morphology classes, just to get to that level. And then from book 4 onwards, there will be Arabic books being taught to everyone so that you can really utilize the tools which you have learned over the 4 books itself. Okay, so I'm just preparing yourself, your mindset that when will you start reading the tafsir of Aytul Makarim Shirazi? It will be after book 4. So the tafsir of Aytul Makarim Shirazi, the tafsir An-Namuna in Urdu and Al-Amthal in the Arabic language, after book 4, I will then get students preparing themselves, and I'll help them to read the ibarat in the Arabic language correctly as well, inshallah. So please be steadfast. And one thing I need to mention is that when Ayatollah Marhum Murtaza Askari, Ayatollah Murtaza Askari is the one who wrote many great books, and he was a great scholar. He's the one who actually refuted the claim about Abdullah ibn Sabah and he is the one who wrote a complete book about the role of Aisha, and he has wrote other books as well, which are very popular, of Ayatollah Murtaza Askari. When he came a few years ago, many years ago, to our Hawza, he said something which I'm sharing with you. He said, "Oh, my children, oh, my daughters, learn the Arabic language. It is the language of the Quran. It is the language by which you can be able to converse with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the language in which the Quran was revealed to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam." And learning the Arabic language, as much time you spend, and the time which you spend, as long as your intention is that you want to understand the Quran, will be deemed as ibadat, as worship. And the struggles, and there'll be always ups and downs in Arabic. Sometimes it will be tough, sometimes it will be easy. If you do it with the right intention, those types of times where you find it a bit tough, there will be the means of which your reward will be increased. Inshallah, I will try to mix it these classes as well. Once I finish this book one, every lesson with one short ahadith from the Ahlul Bayt al-Muslim and Akhlaqiyat, so that every lesson you're taking something new with you as well, inshallah. So that is something which I feel is essential, and inshallah from after book one I will start that as well. Any questions before I continue?
Yes, inshallah, and jazakallah Maulana. But Tafsir Namuna has like 15 volumes. So your goal is we will be able to read it in Arabic?
Yes, that is my aim. I'm not teaching Arabic just so that you can say kayfa haluka ma ismuka. That's not my aim. There's many people who could do that, but my aim is to get everyone to that level, because as a community of the followers of the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam, we have a treasure trove of ahadith and everything. Sunni ulama, this is a true fact. Sunni ulama go to our Shia books on fiqh to see our jurisprudence discourses so that they can understand ahkam.
Yes,
I know people myself that they want to understand how we deduce ahkam, and because in the Sunni madhab there is no ijtihad, they didn't do ijtihad, we do ijtihad, that we deduce laws from Quran and ahadith. So they look into our books so that they can have as you say, a substantiating argument for why this ahkam has come into existence.
Right. They don't do that. Yeah.
Exactly. So Abu Hanifa did it for them, so there's no need for them to do it anymore. So they just read the ahkam and that's it. With us, we actually, until today, we still deduce ahkam from the Quran and ahadith, from the teachings of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. So that's the difference between us and them.
Yes, alhamdulillah. But we are very far from consulting our mushtahideen, as they consult our books, Sunnis. So
yeah, so of course
your goal is that too, like we should go to our fiqh books and
no. The thing is that no, we have taqleed. So we follow our marja. He does the ijtihad, but I'll give you the ability to be able to read Quran, ahadith. I'm not going to teach you ijtihad, and that's not the aim of these classes. It's only to be able to get you familiarized with the akhlaqiyat of the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam, because there's a treasure trove in the Arabic language on books on ethics itself.
So Arabic text in Quran and tafsir and ahadith.
Yes.
Sure. Thank you. Jazakallah.
Right. So let's continue. So then we have. So this is the moon letters and the sun letters. So that is the whole discussion on this lesson. And it talks as 28 letters in the Arabic language, 14 sun letters and 14 moon letters. And then lesson number, okay, I think I was going to do it in one session, but I'm not going to do it. Right, I'm going to end on one thing, and then I'll continue next week as well. Just give me 1 second.
Sheikh?
Yep.
Everything we've learned today up to chapter 4 is regarding singular nouns, not.
Yep.
There's a different ruling for plural.
Yes.
Okay, fine.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Who's asked this question?
Sabira Manji, Muna Manji.
Where are you from, Sister Muna? I didn't ask you.
London.
Okay, yes. there is a complete different ruling.
Okay.
Inshallah, when we start book 2, there are different rulings in regards to plurals itself in the Arabic language. And
Okay.
in book 2, we'll discuss that.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. It's a good question. Now, the other thing I need to mention today, and that will be the only thing I'll mention, and then next week, I'll probably have to do a half an hour session just to complete up to lesson number 5. It's about pronouns. Now, in every language, you have 2 types of pronouns. You have detached pronouns and you have attached pronouns. So this is really crucial. So in the Arabic language, we have 14 pronouns. So for example, if you want to say he, we'll say huwa. And if you want to say they both, you will say huma. And if you wanted to say they all masculine, hum. So in the Arabic language, you have singular and you have tathniya. Tathniya means dual. And then you have more than 2, it's plural. So in the English language, you have singular and plural. No, in the Arabic language, you have singular, dual, and then plural. So huwa is he, huma means they both, hum means they all. Hiya means she, huma means they both, hunna means they all. Anta means you, antuma means you two, antum means you all, masculine. So the F stands for feminine, M stands for masculine. Anti, you one female, antuma, you 2 females, antunna, you all females. Ana means I, and nahnu means we. Yes, Sister Munira, yeah, subject and mubtada khabar, that's correct in the previous ones. And then, so these are the detached pronouns. In conversation, we can say Zaid went to the shop, and sometimes we say he went to the shop. So these pronouns sometimes come to replace nouns in text. So there are 14 pronouns. And then I'm going to leave it on this and then continue next week on verbs and lesson number 4 and 5 next week, because I don't want to bombard you with too much information. Now, the other thing we do have as well is that in the English language, we say he went to the shop, and sometimes we also say his book, our book, their book. So in the English language, you have 2 types of pronouns. We have detached pronouns and attached pronouns, which give the meaning of possessive pronouns. So for example, when you want to say his book, so huwa is the detached pronoun, and the attached pronoun with the nouns, it will be huwa. So kitabuhu means his book. Huma and huma for with the nouns is used the same. Kitabu huma, their 2 individuals' book. Hum, kitabuhum, their book. Here it means she, and ha is the attached pronoun with a noun. So you will say kitabuha, her book. Huma and huma again is shared between both attached and detached pronoun. Kitabu huma, their book. Kitabu hunna, their book, female. And then you have anta, which means you, and the attached pronoun with a noun is kitabuka, which gives the meaning of possession, your book. Kitabuka, kitabukuma, your 2 individuals' book. Kitabukum, your book, more than 2 individuals. Kitabuki, you 1 female's book. Kitabukuma, you 2 individuals' book. Kitabukunna, your all book for females. Kitabi, my book, and kitabuna, our book. Right, any questions so far? Any questions from anyone?
No.
Right, I'm going to leave it to this itself. And I want those who have joined, if you can kindly message, because I don't know who's who, if you can kindly message me and I'll send you these handouts, and I will send you also the recording so that you catch up. And then next lesson, I'll revise with everyone. Next lesson, I will revise with everyone the verbs, all of the past tense verbs.
Is there any work for us?
Yes. The work which I'll give yourself is that if those who have done, the verb conjugation, you know, there's different types of verbs. You have sometimes dhahaba, we have alima and sharufa. I just want you to practice on them. And then also what I'll do, inshallah, by tomorrow, I'll send you an exam paper from lesson number 1 to 5, and you can do that exam tomorrow, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Is that okay?
Actually, send the PDF of the book so that we can practice.
Yeah, if he's messaging me, because the people are quite annoyed in the class, bombarded with so many messages already. So if you message me and I'll send you a private message, that would be great as well. I'll do that. Sister Sadiqa Hairani, I'll send that to you as well. If you kindly message me, Sister Sadiqa, I'll send that across to you. And I may do a separate session for yourselves on the verb conjugations. So next week, I'll go for the verb conjugations with you. And those who have done the verb conjugation already, I will teach you present tense as well. So everyone who has already done up to lesson number 5, they will have something new as well. I'll be teaching past and present tense during the revision sessions as well. So that when we start book 2, you will already know the present tense, inshallah. Is that okay?
Okay, Agha, is this the weekly class or you are taking some other days also?
I'm only doing one class a week for each group. Unless you're in the advanced classes, I may do 2 classes, but all of these classes are once a week. I have one session on Wednesday, one session on Monday, and one session on Friday. So they're different groups, 3 groups, because of some people from Australia, America, and they can't attend the afternoon session. So I have to do a night session so that it suits them as well. So there's 3 groups, all of them have one session each. Okay. Jazakallah. Inshallah, I hope everyone understood, and those who have done it before, I hope they have benefited as well.
Yes, we have.
You are going to teach in English only.
The Urdu classes, I've got someone else to do those classes. The reason why, because I've got too much on my plate and I can't do. There's a minimum amount of time that I've got, so because I've got other things as well. So that I have someone else who's doing the Urdu sessions as well. Okay, so if you want to do in Urdu, I'll send you the other group details for you. Okay. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajil farajahum.
Thank you, Jazakallah.